the ever-changing lands of West Lothian. Today, I'm exploring a newly established trail that aims to teach about West Lothian's rich history and show you firsthand how the landscape has changed forever. So why don't you join me on the Shale Trail? The journey begins in West Calder, at the foot of the West Calder Cooperative Society clock. Created by the shale miners, the society started life as a shop, selling reasonably priced goods to the miners and their families. One of the buildings created by the society still exists today, just across the road. The route takes you on a journey from West Calder all the way to Winchburgh. It begins by heading west along Main Street and turn right just before reaching the church. You'll catch your first glimpse of the Five Sisters at the end of the road. Head across the railway and down the steep path at the other side. I'd chosen a very icy day to walk the trail, requiring some, shall we say, specialist walking techniques to navigate safely. Cross the small burn and up the hill. Look out for the Shale Trail posts en route. Each one telling a tale of the area's history. After a few more minutes' walk, you get a good view of one of the most iconic remnants of the shale oil industry. The Five Sisters Bing. These large, man-made mountains are the waste products of the Westwood Oil Works that were once located at the bottom of the Bing's long slopes. Here, they processed up to 1,200 tonnes of shale per day, heating it in massive, furnace-like machines called retorts to separate oil from rock. The distinctive slopes of the Five Sisters were created by the mechanised bucket system that carried the waste to the top and dumped it on the gigantic mountain of shale, a one-of-a-kind system in Scotland. The shale, once a bright red, is slowly being transformed, becoming greener every year. The methods of generating energy also becoming greener. Anyway, back to the walk. There's a sneaky little turn to the left into some woodland. Be sure to look out for the Shale Trail sign. The path will take you down a staircase and eventually onto another road heading north. Cross the busy main road and head down a little track on the other side into the woodlands of Breich. You'll come across a small pond, the bitter cold made visible in the frozen water. The next section is an enjoyable 2-kilometre walk through the woods. The water of Breich flowing alongside, and later the river Almond. I'd probably wear some waterproof boots for this section though. It can be quite mucky. Eventually, you'll reach the pools of Almond. Once an open-cast quarry, its sole purpose was to feed the hungry retorts at Westwood. The miners working tirelessly to provide energy for the country. The River Almond has since reclaimed the area. Now, a new generation of workers are busying themselves here. A long-tailed tit, scurrying from twig to branch, mining each section for anything edible. Using their tiny, but strong little legs to swing themselves around. But they aren't the only tit in town. The blue tit, also a master gymnast. While the shores of the pond are a hive of activity, life in the water is a little more leisurely. The supervisors soon arrived to stir things up. Making sure everyone was being kept busy. Others were simply watching, hoping to avoid their share of the work. Past the pools of Almond and you've reached Livingston. The walk winds its way through the town, loosely following the path of the Almond as it descends towards Edinburgh. This is the hardest section of the walk to navigate. Luckily, there are various Shale Trail signposts to guide you on your way. There's also a map on the website, just to make sure you don't go too far off course. If all goes according to plan, you'll soon arrive in Livingston village, the oldest part of the town. Back in 1962, when the shale oil industry was shutting down, Livingston village was the only part of town to exist. The rest has been built since then. The town has been growing massively over the years, now only bested by Edinburgh as the largest settlement in the Lothians. And hence the reason it'll probably take you a good hour and a half to get to the other side. You'll pass the modern civic centre and continue along the winding paths that skirt the sides of the river. Almond Park marks the end of your long walk in Livingston. Heading out into the Woodlands towards Almondell and Calderwood Country Park. The Almond is your constant companion on this leg of the journey. It's not your average river. With various weirs, channels and drains all along its route. Used over the years to extract its power to run the industries of old. It also has the unfortunate reputation as one of Scotland's most polluted rivers, from the shale oil industries of the past to modern day industrial and sewage pollution. Emerging from Livingston, and after a brief stint in mid-Calder, you'll start along the winding woodland paths of Almondell. After a kilometre or so of walking, you'll reach a mighty viaduct. Another Shale Trail post marks the point of exit from Almondell. Up a steep staircase to your left. Instead of crossing the viaduct, head away from it, along the path and into the open countryside. You'll eventually stumble across two great pillars next to a golf course. A small reminder of the oil refinery that once dominated the landscape here. Now, nothing more than a resting place for snails. Around this point, I started to feel the miles in my leg joints. At 16 miles long, the Shale Trail is not a quick jaunt in the park. A steady supply of sweets and sandwiches kept me moving forward. Next up, was a short visit to Uphall station to quickly nip under the railway. Passing under the motorway as well and continuing north towards Uphall and Broxburn. You continue along the path through Uphall until you reach the Broxburn, where you turn right and follow the path alongside. Through the little strip of woodland that leads you eastward, straight into squirrel territory. Clinging to the branches above you, watching, eating pretty much anything they like. Keep following the burn, and eventually you'll reach the Union Canal. Once you've crossed to the other side of the canal, start heading north towards the Bings. The canal marks the final leg of your journey. A winding route along water's edge from Broxburn to Winchburgh. Keep an eye out for the 3 Shale Trail posts along the canal path. You'll pass by Green Dyke's Bing, the largest and highest of West Lothian's Great Bings. Its shadow growing longer every minute with the setting sun. I'd been walking for 6 hours by this point, and daylight was beginning to fade. Luckily, Winchburgh was now in sight, the signpost a welcome relief. The route heads through the park and past the school at the other end, leading up a small path next to some lovely red brick cottages. Originally built for the miners, they give you an insight of what the town must have been like in the past. Just a little further up the path and you've reached the finish line. Another metallic sculpture greets you in the centre of Winchburgh. The map giving you a bird's eye view of the trail, a reminder of your achievement. It's an enjoyable walk with so much history surrounding it. For more information and maps, be sure to check out their website in the description. A 6-hour walk covering decades of history with plenty of wildlife and nature to see along the way. It's well worth your time. Thanks everyone for watching, hit subscribe to be notified of future videos, and I'll see you all next time.